Ultra expensive US bills. Do you have one? In this video, we're going to be going over some incredibly rare United States paper money that sold for a lot of money. Let's hop into this video with this first note. It's a $50 bill from 1928. Now, if you didn't know already, 1928 was the first year the US started producing these small size paper money bills. Before that, they produced large size paper money, which was much bigger than the size of the bills that we're used to seeing today. What makes this $50 bill so unique is the fact that it's from 1928 and it's a numeral type bill. Now, how do you know if you have a numeral type bill? It's very simple. On the left hand side of the bill, you'll see a number 5. Now, that number can be anywhere from 1 all the way to 12. Now, typically, that is not going to be a number. Instead, it will be a letter. An interesting fact is you can also see that there are 4 different number 5s around the bill. This number is called a district number because it correlates with the district that the bill was produced for. Lastly, you want to make sure that the 5 matches with the first letter in the serial number because that is going to be the position in the alphabet which it's in. For example, E is the 5th letter in the alphabet. Very basic, right? But if that number was a 1 instead of a 5, then the start of the serial number would be an A. If it was a 2, it would be a B, a 3, a C, etc., all the way to L, which is the 12th district, which is San Francisco. If there's ever a time where the number and the letter do not match, that could be a very rare error. This $50 bill sold for $10,200 because it's a numeral type bill that graded by PMG at a 66 EPQ. And just remember, market timings really matter. So even if you're watching this video in the future, it's still gonna be relevant to you because markets really do go up and down, especially in the coin and currency markets. Now, this is a genuine United States $500 bill. These are personally some of our favorite types of paper money, but not many people even know they exist. These are highly collectible. They're called high denomination notes. There's also a $1,000 bill, this one being from 1928, graded by PMG at a 65 EPQ. You know, back in the day, they used to produce these high denomination notes, but they stopped doing it mainly because 1, not many people could really afford them, and 2, the people that could afford them were using them for bad things like money laundering or anything gang or mob related. You know, the higher the denomination of the bill, the easier it is to transfer large quantities of money. So it made criminal activity pretty much easier. That's one of the main reasons they stopped producing these high denomination bills. Very collectible. A lot of people want to get their hands on these ones as a collector's item. This one sold for $11,100. Here's another genuine $5 bill. This one is a silver certificate that sold for $12,000. Now, the first thing that you'll notice is the blue seal and serial numbers here. The blue designates that the bill is a silver certificate. So what does that mean? Back in the day, you could bring this $5 bill to a bank, and what they would do is they would exchange it for silver, which is really, really cool. I wish they still did that today. Another thing to keep note of here is the fact that there is a star at the start of the serial number. The star on a bill means that it is a replacement note, and a replacement note pretty much means that during the printing process of this bill, it came in a sheet. Now, that sheet could have had an error on it, whether that's a fold-over error or a printing or inking error, some sort of mistake that happened. So a quality control manager found that sheet and destroyed it and produced a brand new sheet called a replacement sheet with a star on it. That is for bookkeeping purposes and to make sure that no unwanted behavior is happening at the Bureau of Engraving and Printing where they produce paper money. To keep a long story short, this 1934 C $5 bill silver certificate star note sold for $12,000. Here's another genuine $1 bill silver certificate. Now, this one sold for $13,800, and the first thing you may notice is that small little S on the bottom right hand side. It is red. That is because this is an experimental note. So back in the day, what they were doing is they were experimenting with different types of paper on these silver certificates. Not only is it an experimental note, but also it's a star note. You can see another star at the start of the serial number. Very hard note to come by, especially in the 65 EPQ grade. This one sold for $13,800. A pretty normal looking $10 bill, this one being from 1928. It sold for $14,400. That's a lot of money for a $10 bill. Now, again, if you haven't noticed, this once again is a numeral type bill. You can see that number 9, the large black number 9 on the left hand side there. That is the main value contributor on this note. Now, do keep in mind that the condition is important. Do not fold your bill, do not damage it, because that's the last thing you want to do because it will decrease the value of the note. Speaking of value, we have a completely free coin and currency ebook that goes over everything you need to know about coins and paper money. All you got to do is click that link below to get that. It's completely free, no strings attached. But again, the main reason why this bill sold for $14,400 is because it is a numeral type 1928 $10 bill that graded by PMG at a 64 EPQ. Once again, it sold for $14,400. Here's another silver certificate, except this one sold for $18,000. It's a 1935 C $1 bill. Now, the main contributing factor here for this value is going to be one, the grade. The grade is very high, but the big one is going to be that serial number. So if you haven't noticed already, look at the serial number. It is a solid number 9 serial number. That is very hard to come by. It is considered to be a fancy serial number, so collectors really want to get their hands on that solid number 9 serial number, and that is why this $1 bill sold for $18,000. Here's a genuine $1,000 bill graded by PMG at a 66 EPQ. It sold for $19,200. That's a lot of money for this bill. Just look at the design of this banknote here. You can see on the back there's a very beautiful, different looking back than we're used to seeing. A very similar story to the $500 bill, and if you didn't know, the United States also produced what's called ultra high denomination bills. These are $5,000 and $10,000 bills. One last thing I'll say is that the US produced a $100,000 bill, but those $100,000 bills never went out into circulation. They were only used for bank-to-bank transfer of money. Either way, if you have a $1,000 bill or a $500 bill, you have something very rare and valuable. Make sure you get it looked at by at least a few experts before you sell it, because you do not want to get ripped off on your high denomination banknote. Once again, $19,200. $24,000 for this genuine silver certificate from 1933. So 1933 is a very special year for the $10 silver certificate bill, because this is what we call the king of silver certificates. Pretty much all you need to know is that 1933 never really meant to produce that many of these bills. There's a very small quantity of 1933s out there. If you have one, it's extremely rare and valuable. Make sure you get it looked at by a few experts. You can also see that the serial number is a low serial number on this $10 1933 silver cert. That's it on this one, guys. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, and we'll see you in the next one.